Welcome, Baltz families, to this week's Sunday Storytime. Get ready to mark your calendars with this week's news and coming events, which will be followed by a news story for the week. Can't wait to find out what it is. And the final segment will be our Mindful Minute with Mrs. Papa. Stay tuned. In this week's events at Baltz, Wednesdays are for asynchronous assignments. Students will complete assignments given by their teachers while they are at home. Some students might Zoom with their teachers or support staff. Regular on-campus or online schedules are for Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday and Friday, while Wednesdays are at home for everyone.
Los miércoles son para asignaciones asincrónicas. Los estudiantes completarán las tareas asignadas por sus maestros mientras están en casa. Algunos estudiantes pueden acercarse con los maestros o el personal de apoyo. Los horarios regulares en el campus o en línea son para lunes, martes, jueves y viernes.
Good evening, Baltz families. Welcome to another episode of Sunday Storytime. My name is Mrs. Burkhart, and tonight I will be reading The Monster's Monster by Patrick MacDonald. And as I read, pay attention to how the big monster teaches the little monsters how to be kind and how to be grateful and to appreciate just being you. The Monster's Monsters. Grouch, Grump, and Little Gloom and Doom thought they were monsters. They lived in a dark monster castle, high atop a dark monster mountain, overlooking a monster-fearing village. Their little monsters' heads were always filled with big monster thoughts: smash, crash, and bash. Huffing and puffing, mad about nothing. Their 10 favorite words were no, 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 and no. Every day they argued over who was the biggest, baddest monster, who could complain the loudest, who could throw the most terrible tantrum, who was the most miserable. These debates always ended in a brawl. One day, they decided to settle the argument once and for all. Grouch got some tape, tacks, staples, and glue. Grump found some gunk, gauze, and gobs of goo. Gloom and Doom grabbed bolts, wire, and a smelly old shoe. Together, they would make a monster, the biggest, baddest monster ever. They hoisted their creation into the stormy sky, where, bam, a lightning bolt sent a powerful jolt through the creature. The monster started to twitch. "He's alive, alive!" the little terrors exclaimed. The monster roared as he stumbled around, tearing away his bandages. "Big!" Little Gloom squealed. "Bad!" Little Doom squeaked. "Monster!" they all cheered. Together, the growling giant reached towards them, and then, in a deep, booming voice, he said his first words. "Thank you." He crushed them to his chest with a tight squeeze. "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Monster wiggled his stubby monster fingers and tapped his clunky monster feet. He looked around in wonder and threw open a window. The room filled with warm, early dawn light, bird songs, and dewy, fresh air. Monster smiled and let out a little giggle. "What do you think you're doing?" cried Grouch. Monster bounced around the room, gently greeting the many bats, rats, spiders, and snakes around him. "No, no, no, no," shouted the group. "You're supposed to be a monster." But Monster didn't think he was a monster. He didn't think he was anything but thankful to be alive. Suddenly, he let out a roar and smashed through the dungeon wall. "Ha ha," Grouch laughed. "He's finally coming to his senses." "Yes, yes," shouted Grump. "He's off to make mayhem in the village. He's going to smash, crash, and bash," cried Gloom and Doom. The rascals dashed after Monster, trying to keep up with his long strides down the mountain. "Monster, Monster!" they cheered after him. The village bakery was just opening for the day when Monster plowed through the front door. Grouch, Grump, and Gloom and Doom anxiously waited outside the shop, peering through the dusty windows. "Big," whispered Gloom. "Bad," whispered Doom. "Shh, shh," begged Grump. "I want to hear the howls and yows." There was a tense quiet, and then finally, from inside the bakery, they heard, "Thank you." Monster appeared, clutching a white paper bag. Then he turned and headed out of town toward the beach. After him, the trio cried, "Monster, Monster!" Monster slowly knelt down on the soft, cool sand. Grouch, Grump, and Gloom and Doom collapsed in a heap around him. As they tried to catch their breath, Monster gently patted their heads. He carefully opened the bag and gave each one of them a warm, powdered jelly donut. Grouch, Grump, and Gloom and Doom were speechless. But then they remembered what their big bad monster had said. "Thank you." Monster looked at them and smiled. They smiled back, and together they all started to giggle. Grouch, Grump, Little Gloom and Doom, and their new friend sat quietly on the shore, watching the sunrise. And the seagulls playing, and the seagrass dancing, and the ocean glistening, and no one was thinking about being a monster. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to tune in next week for another episode of Sunday Storytime. Bye!
Good evening, Vault Bears, and welcome back to another segment of Mindful Minute. This evening, I'm going to be teaching you a breathing technique called 5-finger breathing. It's super simple, so let's get started. Now, take your hand in front of you, spread your fingers out like a starfish, and we're going to use our other finger to trace around the fingers on your other hand. So, you're going to trace up and down. As you get to the top of your finger, you're going to pause. When you get to the bottom, you're going to pause as well. Make sure you're tracing nice and slow. Now, let's add in some breathing. As you trace up, you're going to breathe in. As you trace down, you're going to breathe out. As you trace up, you're going to breathe in. As you trace down, you're going to breathe out. Remember to match your breathing to your tracing and trace nice and slow. So let's try this. Ready? Breathe in, pause, and breathe out. Pause. 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 Now, give your hand a little wiggle and ask yourself, How do I feel? Does my body feel calmer? If your answer is no, go for another 5. Make sure you're pausing at the top and pausing at the bottom and tracing your fingers nice and slow. See? Super simple. And this is something you can do anywhere. All you need is your hands. So, this week, if you're having big, uncomfortable feelings and you want to get your body feeling more calm and peaceful, try taking 5-finger breathing. See you next time.
Hey guys, it's Miss Persani. Don't forget to like and share this video, and also make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss another episode. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, you rock!